All right, hello everybody, and welcome to your lighting critique. We've got a bunch of work. We've got people on live. We're not going to waste much time, so we're going to get into it. We're going to start with Andre's piece. So just to give a little context of reference, we've got a kitchen scene. You've got these lovely references, and I'll talk about the reference in a second. I just want to play the shot too, and kind of kick things off. So preface out of the gate, you're still working on the materials, like that's still coming through. Obviously she doesn't have white eyes, but you said you just kind of wanted to get the feel, which I think is a really good technique of like, especially if it's just like one shot, go ahead and block out the lighting, get a feel for it, and then you can start applying the materials and see how they work in that lighting scenario. Because it won't matter if they look great under neutral lighting if this is the only shot that they'll ever exist in. So it's good to do that. My first instinct is like your structure of the lighting is really in a good place. Like this feels like, okay, great. This feels like a shot that's going to be really good. The question I have for you, and this is like not necessarily something you need to answer at this moment, but why can't I stop this? Stop. There you go. Is in the reference images that you provided, the difference between like what we're seeing from this is the Bao short versus Red Panda. Can't remember. Which one's this?
Panda.
Panda?
Red Panda, yeah. Okay,
so from Panda, it's like this is a very, very warm, glowy, like heartfelt. Like this isn't what real kitchens look like. This is like what an idealized kitchen looks like. This is like what your brain says when you're like, I want to go home for that home cooked meal. Like this is what that looks like. And then, but like with these are a little bit more real. Like this is really what kitchens look like in the morning, right? Like a little bit darker than we like to think. There is still some warmth and bounce light coming around just because that's the way it works. But in terms of like the mood that we're trying to evoke, these have a very different sensation than what we're seeing from Panda. So you can go either way with it, but I would say yours is leaning more towards like the realistic one. Is that and based on, we don't have audio here, but like based on what you like, is that kind of what you're going for? I guess I will open this up to you to respond.
Yeah. It's a little. I think the red one was just a reference for the lighting coming from one side, from one direction, kind of.
Got it.
Not necessarily how light and joyful that scene is, because the truth is that the scene I'm working on, it's not joyful at all. She's like really. She's really kind of like upset or stressed out or whatever it is, and it's more of a bit more stressed. I'm not gonna say darker scene.
No, but it's like it's just more realistic. It's like
this.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay, cool. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure before I started giving notes on that. So, I think the structure of the shot works really well. We're able to, by having this light, the window back over here, we're able to allow her to kind of exist over this like a little bit of a darker space. No, like this is too black back here, like it's too dark. But I like having the structure this way, because then what we can do is we can this window should eventually get brighter. Like it should be like we see the way that we see like kind of pure whites happening out here. We should get up to that level. Like if you want, you can. There's like a little bit of detail back here in some of these, but the overall brightness is to the point of blowing out. So we'll get there at some point, and then we'll create like a little bit of haze coming in here, which will not only like it'll just kind of like muddy up the waters back there a little bit and allow us to really focus in on her. That being said, so I think this is also why I like doing this blocked out lighting thing before you really get in the materials. Like you don't have to go crazy with the materials and the stuff on the counter, right? Like it's going to be out of focus, so who cares? Just getting like little specular highlights like that is more important, and getting the broad strokes of things. I like what I'm seeing so far in the specularity on her skin is a little bit too high, but I like that it's, but this is another reason why I really like doing this, is that you see the benefits of having a higher specular value on the skin in these like situations where they're backlit. It's more like there's more fill values because you can get some more variation in there. Like if you look across her cheeks and her like, pause this. Like when she's facing this way, getting this like little bit of a specular highlight on her head allows that to not just fall into like flatness, and it works out really well. Same thing like with her arm in here, like the arm, the way this arm is shaping up is really nice. There's specular highlight here, kind of the darker area in there, and then the key light happening on that side, which works really well. So I think everything is working well. The other thing too that you could potentially do, because I like doing this with kitchens, is they're like the same way that I'm at my desk here. My desk is like just beneath my face, and so you can realistically throw some more bounce light that really kind of centers the attention on the character's face, and also like because you can see light like kind of bouncing around this way, and so you can just kind of like create a little area of light in off to this side. That kind of faces back towards her. Sorry, my diagrams have gotten out of control. But that
there's an area light there already.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so you can just
right.
Yeah. You can kind of see it here. Yeah.
But I think that if I put a second one coming from below, that will also help. The way you said. Yeah.
Yeah, but the structure of this is working really well. And by the way, anybody else who's doing this, like, if you do this, just like keep it as super simple as you possibly can. Like 3 to 4 lights at the most. Like if I was doing this, I'd have an environment sphere, either an area light or spotlight shining in through the window. And then that bounce light there, and maybe like one other bounce light in there. But like just keep it simple, just to block it out. Don't do like when you're at this point. Do not do light linking, because it just messes. It'll just it'll mess with you more. It'll hurt you more than it'll help you, because the idea is like you want this stuff to work well without light linking, and then you just use that towards the end if that's necessary. So through it one more time. Another thing to watch out for is just like there's a lot of blacks in the knife itself. Like when she's cutting, I'm not sure why, but just like when you're going through the materials there.
I guess because there's no wall below the camera, so I guess it's reflecting the blackness that is behind the camera. I guess, but it feels like if it's down here, it should at least be reflecting this, but. It might just be like yeah. It might like and this again, not a big deal. We have time to sort this out, whatever. It might just be like in the like if the character's being rendered separately from the background, if like the environment isn't being calculated in the reflections, then it'll just like it almost looks like there's no lights on the environment in the reflection itself, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So just something. No, it's
yeah.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Maybe I can just take out some of the, actually add a bit more brightness on the material on the knife so that it doesn't reflect that much.
Okay, cool. And then this is a good example too of how you're just kind of suggesting, like a suggestion of these props in the background is enough for me. Like I like in my head I already filled in like, oh, there's a tea kettle, there's a bunch of pots of pans in a sink, there's like cups in a drying rack over there. I actually don't see any of that. Like I'm guessing that these are like my brain fills in those gaps. So you did a really good job of just like keeping it general, and that works out well. All right, cool. Any other questions before we move on? All right, let's grab Andre, Angela, I don't believe is here. Julia, Holly, no. Marlon, you're here. Yes, I saw Marlon. Marlon, are you able to speak? I only say that, sorry, that sounds weird when I say that out loud. Like, it's like, are you able to unmute yourself? Some people are at work, like, I don't. All right, cool. So, refresher, so Marlon's shot is this giant beast emerging from this deserty cave. and setting forth. I think it looks really good. Like overall, I think you're like we've been working. We've been working hard to kind of homogenize. I guess is the right way of saying it. Like homogenize the scene a little bit because again, like desert, dusty, dry environments. Like dust just blows around and kind of makes everything kind of the same color. I don't remember seeing these skulls. Cool, they're cool. I would say just give them the same treatment, like a little bit more pink on there. If they were there before, I apologize for not making that comment previously. But overall, everything is coming together well. I'd like to see this animated out, and then because I think any of the tweaks that we make at this point will be we can handle on the compositing side. Because again, I still think that we can go a little bit more light bloom in some of these areas. Like, I'll just show you. I'm just making a copy of the original. We will go ahead and add a little bit of Gaussian blur. That's fine. And then I will, and again, this is just how I do it in Photoshop. I screen it back over, and then just like, because basically what I want is just like some, like it just, especially in a hot deserty thing, like you just want to kind of feel that heat a little bit more. So basically, it's just getting a little bit more glow out of it. But I think like I said, I don't want to stop you if this is if your next step is to go to render. I would say feel free to go crazy and render it out, and then we can make these adjustments in the comp. This is really nice. Draw attention to this. So like the way that this secondary bounce light happening in here looks good. Like that's a good level back there, and like we can see back into this space a little bit. Check one more thing. Yeah, I know we were working on the dark points in some of these crevices, and they look really nice. Kind of want to see this thing played out again. Okay, cool. Anybody else have any questions or Marlon? I don't know if you're. All right, cool. Cool. All right, we have. Let's see. Oh, Ronald, you're here. All right, great. So this is the render. This is the first pass of this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got the first pass. We've got the reference. Let's go ahead and bring them together. So I can just A/B them a little bit. I mean, overall, I think that your lighting setup is great. I think there's a lot of like I can definitely see where your eye's going. I can see where you're reading the reference images. I can see where you're applying it well. Having this guy is really nice. Like I can see exactly. It's nice. It's nice to do this kind of a thing to draw yourself a diagram, because it keeps you honest. It makes sure it's ensuring that everything that you create, every light that you create is. How do I say it? Is intentional and made with a purpose, a very specific purpose. So if like you go back and you're like if I give you a note on one thing, you can go back to that specific light and make the adjustment. So that's really good. The areas that would be best, that I would focus in on next, in the next iteration, I would really dial into the specular highlights. So there's a couple things that you can do. And this probably isn't there in the base model, so you may have to add this. This character has really nice breakup in the skin tones, like the specular. There's like a little bit of a bump in there, like skin pores, basically. Like you can see it here, and this one kind of coming down the side. On this character, like we don't really get that because I don't think they're built in. So it's much more like a smooth, almost like a mannequin or a porcelain doll surface. So I would just add in a little bump there, a little skin pore bump. You can do that with like a noise, or there's really it doesn't really have to be that crazy. Just something to break up the specular highlight there. And then the other thing, I keep forgetting I have this here. The other thing is trying to figure. And then getting, sorry, I'm just looking. And then getting like the lips to read differently than the red. Like you have the lips reading differently slightly, but I want to push them along this this level where we're getting those specular highlights. You don't see her teeth, but like just getting these little specular highlights in here is a really, really nice touch. And same thing with her, like on her collarbone. Again, I know you mentioned in your comments that she doesn't really have a collarbone, but if we could get like a little bit of specularity down there too. The hair is going to be tricky just because the hair of that model isn't quite going to give you the same look that this one is, like that same like subsurface quality to it. But getting a little bit of warmth in it, I think, will help on that screen right side.
Color-wise or light-wise?
Say again. Sorry.
Color-wise or light-wise? So should I?
I think
light at it.
A little bit of both. I think light-wise, it's a little bit dark. Like there's like if you're just focusing on the hair, it's hard to tell the key side from the fill side. And then color-wise, I think that you could push a little more warmth into that.
All right.
And then for the eyes, I think you've done a really good job of separating the three areas. But I think that they're a little bit. I think each one, other than the pupil, I think they're a little bit too bright. I would just tone back the brightness of the eyes a little bit to kind of to have them sink back into space a little bit.
All right, but they are the same mesh as the rest of the character.
Mm-hmm. You can do it. I mean, you can. Yeah,
light.
It's a still. So if you can, like what I would do is I would, if you want to go super janky about it, you can just like literally like do it in Photoshop or Nuke or whatever. What I would do is I would create a new either a new file or a render layer, and then just assign. Let's see. I have to look at this again. So basically, I would assign the eye geometry with either like a red matte material or a green matte material or blue, and then make the skin something else, just to give me something to isolate at least just the eyes. And then you can use. The nice thing is, because of the way that the eyes are set up, you can actually use a chroma key to isolate certain values. So you can be like, you can isolate the iris color, that kind of warm amber brown color of the eye. You can isolate that and then make those adjustments there. But overall they just need to be just toned down a little bit.
Nice.
All right, cool. Really nice start though.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, and then we'll go to Vedat and then Rubi. All right. So Vedat, we've got an update. Are you still here? He was here a minute ago. There he is. Okay. So we've got, this is the previous version with the newer one.
You hear me?
Yes, I got you. Yes, hello.
How are you doing?
Good, buddy. How are you?
It's been long.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Talk.
Yeah, I hope you're well.
Yes. Good. What about you?
Yeah, so there's more bounce on the character's face. I think that's nice. I think you did something that we didn't even really mention, which is nice, which is more lighting up here on these clouds from that sun location to kind of tie those together, which is nice. I was realizing this when I was looking at it. I'm stepping back. When I was looking at it in the original on the Discord server. So I think that the image itself might be a little bit imbalanced. I'm looking like it's specifically because of this tree here on the screen left side. And I just wonder if we I don't know how much control you have over it, but like if we could plug in something here that might help balance it out a little bit. But everything else is good. So subsurface on the cheesy house looks nice. I don't know if I would make my house out of the thing that I like to eat the most, but this mouse is that's the between this mouse and his life situations or her life situations. I'm trying to think in terms of. I want to see more, because one of the things about Sunset is it's a really dazzling array of color type of a situation, and I want to see more of like the pink warm colors coming from the sunset a little bit, maybe at the sky, and then have that reflected in the character a little bit more. Because I think the position is really good. I think the variation on the light coming from on the sky is really good. I just if I'm just looking at the environment, the lighting itself feels a little bit neutral in color. And I think that we could push that a little bit warmer, happier, maybe overall. Let me see if I can mock up something here.
So what about the exposure? I mean, should the mouse be more darker because it's facing on the sun?
I think we can get away with actually playing it. It's a great question. I think we can actually get away with it because I'm wondering if there's a way to make the mouse even a little bit brighter. I would actually push them a little bit brighter just because with the if the mouse was bigger on screen, I would say we can get away with making it, we can play it a little bit dark over light, but if it gets much darker, we're just going to lose features on it. So I think what it is playing up a little bit of like the ambient kind of bounce light again. Let's see. I would put it more into like this range. Let's see if I can remember these two. So I would push more like red warmth into the scene as a whole. And then I would brighten up the character a little bit and push a little more warmth into the character itself. And then just have it be like, almost like a vignette coming to the center there to really kind of read in on the character. And I think that's how I would play that up. Normally those eye dings would be, I would say that they're, I'll probably still say it, they're probably too bright given that the character's not looking at the sun. So I would take those down a little bit. But again, I would not too much because of the scale of it. This is a tricky one. It's tough when the character is this small on camera. Also, it's tough when your trees are cubes. It's really hard. This is actually a really nice solution to that. Do you see, like, because it's really hard to get variation in flat surfaces like this. But what you did was you made them slightly reflective, and so the reflection is giving variation on there. I think that's nice. It's a good solution. Let's see. Also, one thing to point out too, the depth of field on this is pretty high. The amount of blur the blur is strong. It makes it feel like, and I'm just making an assumption. It makes it feel like the mouse is mouse size, and I just want to make sure the mouse wasn't like 5.5 feet tall. Like it was like, if it's human size, I would say take down the amount of depth of field blur too, but I don't think it is. But yeah. All right, cool. Anybody else have any thoughts, or Vedat, do you have any questions or anything? Did we lose him? I think we lost him. I scared him away. Anybody else have any thoughts on this before we move on? All right. All right, Rubi, entering the land of Unreal. All right, so we got the reference. And is this... So, I mean, again, first gut instinct is like, yeah, great job. Like you nailed the lighting positions, the colors, everything. All of that is looking really good. It's just a matter of getting some more detail in there. I just think that, and this is what I'm seeing out of these. This is a metahuman. Is that what they call them? Yeah, the metahumans is they come back, like their eyes look nice and specular, but their skin feels matte. So I think that we can find a way to get some more, again, specularity in the skin. Like, do you see how there's like here and here, there's a little, like a minor bit of like variation in these colors that are coming through. And where here it's like a little bit, it's just like everything's like the transitions are just like a little bit too perfect. Like I just want, especially across the forehead, like just a little bit of like indication that the light is reflecting in the skin, just a touch. Also, there's something about the lips. Maybe they're not getting dark. I think maybe it's just like getting them darker at their contact point. And then I think that would be
making darker?
Yeah. Making like where the lips come together. Because it almost looks like it gets a little bit brighter there. Or something. There's something about the lips that falls in that uncanny valley that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't know why. Like, it's like it's and I think it's just the lightness at the like it doesn't we don't get that ambient occlusion thing.
Okay.
Hair looks great. Like seeing like this area right in here where you see like the individual follicles and they're just being like, but they're not. Yeah. And this like this, and again the bump on the skin looks really good too. How are you feeling about it? How's your workflow with this?
It's good. I had a lot of like rendering that wasn't actually rendering the camera, so it's like a learning process still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just amazed by like how it looks like out of the kind of the box, because it's pretty impressive. And I was trying to play around a little bit with the like setting the face the way of the reference too, so that was pretty cool too. But yeah, it's pretty amazing, the meta-human thing.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Well, yeah, it's looking great. Your results are looking good. I'm looking forward to it. All right, cool. All right, let's hop through. Is there anybody else that's on live that I think we got everyone who's live? But if I'm wrong, please let me know. All right, so next up we have Angela here. This is an update to the ornament scene. I think this tree's looking a lot better. We got the saturation point between the reds and the greens are coming into place nicely. I think that this is nice back here, this haze. I think everything's looking good. I would just, if you can get some more ambient occlusion from the car underneath the car, just kind of darken it just a touch more under there. And then I still think that we can boost up. Like I'm looking, now that we've got everything kind of in place, like these characters in here are really serving as like our main focal point, or the nutcracker, the gnome, and the car. And I think that we can just push them just an exposure, a stop brighter, and when I do that, it always pushes the saturation a little bit. Pull it back. And now, because I think that I want to get them to kind of stand off a little bit more from the background. I'm just gonna add a little bit more like orangey glow, because I think there was too much pink. See, I have like too much magenta on there. Just gonna push it the other way. So yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I think it looks good. I like one of my favorite parts is these little suggestions of the continuing world out there. I think that looks really good. Does anybody have any thoughts on this? Anybody have any other suggestions? Yeah. Whoever does the street sweeping in this town is crushing it, because the cars and the sidewalk, everything's covered with snow, but there's like nothing on the street. They're doing a really, really good job. So well done, city of tiny town. Okay, Julia, same scene. This is looking lovely. You've got some more reflection on that, because in my last comment I just said I wanted an off-screen something to reflect these letters a little bit more strongly, just because it says Christmas Carol, and it just like really kind of helps set the mood of the scene a little bit. This is looking good here. I like that we're getting the light hit on that. Wonderful. There's something going on over here. It looks like the binding of the book. Like there's some lines going across here that look a little bit saturated. I would just take those down if you could. Just step back for a second. I'm wondering if the area, and I think so. The area that's like this light hitting here is great. I think it could be a little bit warmer to match the color of the lantern itself. And then I think the trees that are back behind it can go a little bit darker. But everything else is playing well. And then I think maybe just for composition thing, I would make this street darker, like just the texture color. Make it maybe more like an asphalt color, because right now it's the color just kind of matches a little bit too closely to the snow itself, and it kind of feels off. And I think that like having something darker there will help kind of frame the image a little bit better. Yeah, it's looking good. Anybody have any thoughts on this? So yeah, it's moved along nicely. All right, cool. All right, Holly. We got some updates to this. I think I can pull in the old one, but overall, I think that you're moving in the right direction. I think we've introduced too much yellow into this. I want to just kind of push it a little bit more into kind of the a little bit too much green, a little bit too much yellow, just to kind of pull that out a little bit. And also, I feel like we're missing some dark values overall. Like, yeah. We may have pushed that a little bit too strong. Actually, let me pull up this. No, I think I did it on Thursday or on Wednesday of last week. Sorry, give me a sec. Can't remember which one it is. Yeah, so something. Yeah, this is my mock-up the other day. But yeah, I think. Yeah, I think something like this value for this character back here. I'm just wondering, like, how do we get this character to read a little more? And I'm wondering if the face is getting a little bit too dark. And I think we can just punch that up a little bit. Just like a little, I don't know, but a little more fill light on that character's face to get that to read. Because just because like I'm realizing now that some of the like the sugar cube and the brightness here and the brightness here just kind of pull attention down away from it. But overall the structure is looking really good. I would take down the eye-dings on. I so want this character to have a name in my head, and I want to name him something. He or she seems very, very cute. And then the other thing I wanted to say was about the overall bounce level. Go back. So I think that. Yeah, I think having more bounce, more fill on this character. I think just more like a little more bounce overall would be good. It feels really bright on this now, which is nice. But like I still feel like there would be a little bit more fill light in these areas. In fact, let me just for a second look back on Andre's reference for something. Maybe on the. Yeah, like I was thinking about it in terms of something a little bit more along the Red Panda level. We're seeing like this amount of bounce light in some of these, and like in all of these appliances back here on the countertop, you see like nice filled in values. Like there are still darker tones. Like back over here, there's still blacks and stuff, but like just having that little bit of extra bounce light. Because again, we are sitting on top of like marble, and that just like a mirror just reflects the light back up. So I'll just slip that in there a little bit. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and then we've got last one of the day is Raghavendra. I think that's everyone. Yeah. Okay. So, previous and update. So previous one, we just shifted the camera to the right over. I like this composition is a lot better. I think this is working really well. I think, yeah, everything is, the structure is much better. And I think this is looking good. Now we can get into like some of the detail stuff. So you got light shining down here. I think the light itself can go a little bit brighter, like it would kind of blow out up there because there would be glass on the outside there. Well, these are looking good. Like even just something along those lines. Basically, just push that one a little bit brighter. And then we've got light shining down here. The one thing about the lighting direction, especially on this character, but also this one too a little bit, is that it feels like it's omnidirectional, like it's coming in from all over the place. So like this character, his face is very bright, then his hat here gets a little bit darker, then it's very bright back here. I would almost play it up like there's just some light coming in here that creates a little bit of a rim, and a little bit of light here that creates like the key value. Same thing with this character, like this is a lot of light on the back. I would tone down the rim light and just play it up like this is the main key light coming down, and it would kind of be tucking around from the back side too, so it would almost be like a rim light on that right side. Like I would definitely, still make the connection between this light and this character, that there's a rim there, but that rim seems stronger than anything else. And then the light, it dies very quickly from here to here, and I think that we can push that a little bit out. And so like this side of the character's face can get a little bit brighter on this side. In terms of the car here, I think the car is like it feels overly cranked on the dark side. I feel like we can get a little bit more value in there. I like where you're at because you're trying to focus the attention here in the middle, but I think it feels a little bit not realistically dark. I just think that we can push it a little more. Also, these shapes on the ground, they feel a little bit graphic or abstract to me, and I'm not sure, like they almost look like puddles, because it's not the same color as like what I'm seeing from the curb down here. So I'm just not quite sure. So just double check that to make sure that is what you're expecting to see there. Yeah. So I think the biggest ones, I like if I'm just looking at the environment, I think the environment lighting looks really good. In terms of like the books, the street, the lamps, the background, like all that stuff's looking really good. It's just getting the car to be a little bit brighter, and then shaping up the characters a little bit more based on the way that the lights are. And that might not, like this is the point, like maybe right now what we have is the way that the lights are actually interacting with the characters. And so like this is the part where I was saying before to take it all the way back to the very first critique with Andre, was that like this is the part where we start doing some light linking. So it's like with this character, it's like, okay, maybe, and also, but like on this environment, it gets a little bright in here. But basically with this character, it's like, okay, how do we want to pretend like this environment's lighting this character? Be like, okay, let's play it up like this is the key light. This one can be slightly more subtle, and then and again, you make independent spotlights that only hit the character from roughly these angles that make the character look good. And same thing with this one, and then maybe these guys out here too. All right, cool. All right, well, that is everyone for today. Does anybody have any questions or anything additional they want to add before we part ways? Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you very much for joining in, everybody. It's always so good to see you all. And I will be back with another live critique on Thursday, and we'll do written critiques until then. So I will see you all back on Thursday. All right, be good, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye, Ruby. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, all.